Jandal. I think it's Jandal and Sarah. We're just going to wait for some more people to pop on and then I will begin. Thank you so much for joining. And hi, Reader's Warehouse. Okay, I see some people are popping on now. Let's just give everybody one more minute and then we can start. So if you're feeling cold like me, you can go get some tea or coffee, hot chocolates along. I'm sure you can make it in a minute. And then we will start. Okay, I think let's go for it because we don't also have a lot of time. Okay, so good afternoon everybody and welcome. It's baie koud buite, but I'm telling you, you will be warmed, your heart will be warmed by the conversation we're going to have today. So for the month of August, we have been, the Cape Town Museum of Childhood has been celebrating women. We've spoken to, so we've really dedicated this month to speaking to inspiring women. So we started off with speaking to Shahida Isel, who was a prominent freedom fighter during the apartheid struggle. Then last week we spoke to Jessica Dewis, who is the founding director of the Justice Desk, who's also such a phenomenal woman and is doing such great work through the Justice Desk. And then today we are speaking to Danielle Moosajie. Well, she's affectionately known as Danny, so I will refer to her as Danny from here onward, but she is the director of Arise. So we look forward to speaking to her today. And so I think we're going to go straight into it. So thank you for all of you who have joined, who have tuned in. I know the data struggle is real, but we really appreciate your support. If you have any questions as Danny and I talk, please just put them in the comment section and we will address it as we go on. So let's welcome in Danny. Hello.
Hi there, hello.
How are you today?
Just a little bit cold in the Cape, but otherwise fine.
Oh my word. Why did I not come? I should have brought like a little bit of some tea or something with me. I don't know why. But anyway, I've got a beanie on and I feel like when your head is warm, the rest of your body is warm. Yeah, so Danny, we're so happy to have you with us here today. As I said earlier on, we are celebrating phenomenal and inspiring women in South Africa, and we have identified you as one of those women. So we're really so honored to be speaking with you today. So I thought we could start off with a little introduction. So do you mind just telling the people who you are? And then also maybe tell us a bit about your childhood. What was it like growing up in your household?
Yeah, sure. So as you've wonderfully introduced me, everyone knows me as Danny. And yeah, I'm a qualified social worker, as well as I have amazing privilege to lead and direct Arise, which is an NGO out in Hedefeld. And a little bit about me, I think I'm still quite young, so I'm in my early 30s. I'm married and 6 years. I have 2 boys, yeah, my boys are 5 and 3, so it's crazy here, and very mischievous. So very noisy. That's why I'm kind of stuck in the office at the moment. And yeah.
I think we might have lost. I'm not sure if it's on my side. Guys, if you can just let me know, is Danny's picture also loading on your side? Because it's now has stopped on my side. Yeah. Let me know, guys. Because it's definitely not working on my side. But no fear.
Hello.
Oh, let's see. Hello. Okay.
Sorry, did I keep going and did we pause there for a while?
I just started. Oh, it says, okay, now I just had to ask people because you just completely froze, but I think it's working now. Yeah, it seems to be working. Okay, thank you, Reader's Warehouse, for replying. Okay, sorry, Danny. So I just heard that you just spoke about your boys and you said it was busy, and then it kind of cut out after that. So if you could just pick up from that part, please.
Great. So, a little bit about my childhood. So I grew up in a single parent home. So I was brought up by my mom and my grandmother. And so growing up, it was a very much female and empowerment house. And then I also went to a private school in Cape Town, which was an all-girls school. So in terms of hearing around women and feminism, that was very much what I was taught, that women can do anything they put their mind to, and seeing it for myself through my mom and my grand, I could see it. But it was also difficult because I didn't have a good relationship with my father, and so he really struggled with alcoholism, and so that affected our relationship while I was growing up. And so by the time I was a teenager, I had to really sit down with him and have a hard conversation and say, I can't be in this relationship anymore because you keep making promises that you don't keep. It's really affecting me and my heart, and I need you to get sober before we can have a deep relationship. And I was about 15 years old when I had that conversation, which was a very, very hard one. But I knew that during that time, my anger was taking over me, that I was making bad decisions because, you know, I was trying to express my emotions in the wrong way. And I knew that I needed to do something different and make a hard choice. And so after having that conversation, I obviously hoped that my father would get sober and that we would have a good relationship. But unfortunately, that just never happened. And he then passed away now about of my father. So that's
Shoot, Danny, so okay, there we go. It was like literally buffering again, but I think I got the gist of it. Just my deepest sympathies, and also from all of us just listening. And sure, what a very adult conversation that you needed to have at 15 years old. And I'm sure if anybody observed or heard that, they would have been like, I'm sure she's going to be a social worker or somewhere now in profession when she's older. I mean, that's quite a deep conversation to have. And thank you for sharing that. It's quite intimate. So thank you for sharing that with us. Okay, so now we're going to talk a bit about Arise. But before we talk about that, can you paint us a picture? Because I'm sure a lot of people have heard of the community Heideveld. I know of it. I have some family members that live there, some friends who live there. Paint us a picture of what the community is like, and what are some of the social ills that people deal with. But then also, and this is something that I found out when I did my social work practical at Christway High School in Steenberg, is that yes, there are a lot of people that are dealing with lots of social ills. It is crazy. You almost, it's mind-boggling. But then there are also those resilient few who are able to overcome those odds. And those are the ones that you kind of like, you're rooting for, and you're like, yes, there are some of you out there. So tell us a little bit about the community that you guys work in.
So for those of you in Cape Town, or those of you who don't know where Heideveld is, it literally is 2 minutes away from the airport. So it's between Gugulethu, Manenberg, and Bonteheuwel. And if you drive past the airport and you see all the colorful houses, that's where we are at. We're in the middle right there. And so Heideveld, in terms of their social, economic issues that are faced, is like many marginalized communities in South Africa. We have a lot of poverty, and with, especially being on the Cape Flats, there's a lot of violence in terms of gangsterism, and as well as teenage pregnancies, a lot of children dropping out of school, a lot of mental health issues, and child abuse and neglect. And so that's just a few of the things that we deal with in our community. But also, like you said, you know, within Haderfelt, there's good parts, there's some parts that just need a little bit more help. And the great thing I heard you say is resiliency. What we believe at Arise is really resiliency is a skill that you can learn. It takes hard work, but it is an ability to build that resilience within yourself. And in order to build that resilience, what we find is that anyone just needs one supportive caregiver or person that can stand by them to see them through life's challenges. And so really that's what Arise is all about. Arise believes that every child is created to be in a thriving family. And so based on that belief, we work in three ways. One is that we work with existing families on the Cape Flats, trying to strengthen them through our various programs, through Family Forum, which is our parent support group, through our local intervention programs within our schools, so working with teachers and parents together, as well as with our family strengthening programs at our center. So it's around the caregiver and the child's relationship, building that attachment, that nurture, that care, that sense of belonging that all children and actually any human being is wanting. And then because we don't live in an ideal world, we know that there are children who don't have families. And so we seek for permanency. We want children to have permanent family members so that they can have that caregiver that loves them and supports them. And so we do that through our adoption support services. So those parents who are thinking about adoption or those who have adopted, we have our adoption conferences and a quarterly adoption workshop that we run, but now we're running it online, so due to COVID. And yeah, so in that way, we're equipping parents in order to build that connection, attachment, and a sense of belonging so that their children can thrive in their family as well. And then thirdly, because we have developed and written our own material, because South Africa is such a unique context, we got quite frustrated that we see beautiful programs, we'd implement them, but they didn't work. And so we decided to write and develop our programs. And now what we do is we train professionals, so social workers, psychologists, teachers.
Sorry,
I paused there. No, it's fine. It's the weather.
Okay, but I think we got the gist of what you were saying. I know that you guys, tell us, when did Arise actually start? And I know when I met you a few years ago, you were the operations manager, I think. Tell us a bit about that journey, also your journey with Arise. Yeah, even like going through these different roles. And then if you don't mind also sharing some of the highlights of Arise's work. Yeah.
Yeah, so Arise was founded in 2008, and the founder saw a need of working with children and families through her work interning at U-Turn, actually, so working with homeless members of our community. And so then she started a center out in Haderfelt, doing a lot of crisis management work. And so working with children, doing individual counseling, play counseling, and then doing very similar work, but it was very individual focused. I joined Arise at around 2015, and through working with understanding that even though people were coming when they were in crisis mode, the impact wasn't sustainable and it wasn't long term. Because what would happen is someone would come with a crisis, we'd patch it up, they'd leave, or they would default on an appointment, and the problem would continue. And so we did a lot of strategizing together as a team, deciding how do we build a model that we want to see children thrive, but we're only working with the child. But at the end of the day, the child goes back in the home and the parents continue that behavior, not supporting all of the child's hard work to cope with trauma and the loss that they've experienced. And so that's from 2015 to 2017, we really worked hard in creating a family strengthening model in terms of working with the entire family holistically. And that would mean partnering with other organizations. So we can't do it alone. So we know if a parent is struggling with drug addiction or alcohol, you know, they need another organization that is an expert in that. And so that's what we do. And so through that, we've created an holistic approach through family strengthening and truly working on the relationship between the child and the parent. Because children can see many social workers, many teachers, but if they're not hearing it from their parent to say, I love you, I'm proud of you, you doing a good job, what was your day like? How are you feeling? That is what children are yearning for. And to have that place of safety. And so that's really what inspires us to continue doing the programs that we do. So our programs is really strength-based. It's looking at, you know, we can focus on the issues and the problems, but that mother who's struggling to put, you know, food on the table, she's still going out and asking people for help. She's still coming to our center going, I want to make it better. And that is a strength that we can work with. You know, a child who's bunking school and getting kids to bunk school with them, that's a leader. So how do we use the strengths that we see and ensure that we're able to put them to use those skills for good and make better decisions? And so we do that through our various programs that we have written and developed.
I love that. And I love how you saw how you could see that situation. Like if you think of a boy that's leading a pack and is saying, come guys, you're going to bunk now. You wouldn't think, oh my word, that boy actually has some leadership qualities. Like you said, how can we put it to good use? I think that's excellent. Tell us about some of the highlights through these years at Arise, some of the highlights of the work.
Yeah, so in 2017, we wrote a program called Raising Superheroes, and it was for young boys between the ages of 11 and 13 years old, and that is our biggest dropout rate for boys in our community. And we kept seeing the same thing happen over and over again, and when we started developing this program, we said, well, these boys do have strengths. You know, there's creativity if they're sneaking into buildings and stealing something. How they do it, I don't know, but there's creativity in there. And the parents or the caregivers just were angry and fed up, partly because they were also getting a reputation in the community. Also, they've tried everything and they just felt they couldn't do anymore. And so what we did was, we wrote a program around superheroes. So Marvel, you know, Captain America, Spider-Man, and the boys loved it. And it's a group work with caregivers and boys together. And we explore these superheroes. So Hulk, for example, has anger issues, but he uses it for good. He struggles a little bit, but he works well in a team. Spider-Man, there's a lot of loss with Spider-Man. He lost his uncle and his parents, but he has dedication and commitment and a sense of responsibility. But there's also weaknesses with being a superhero. And so it's looking at those strengths within superheroes, but then helping them reflect their own internal strengths within themselves, and then reaching a goal of what strength do they want for themselves? What can they work with? And then we use the Avengers and the Justice League and, you know, Wakanda team and community of how do they work together? So your caregiver, your grandmother has certain strengths and you have certain strengths, but what are you together? What are your values? What carries you? And that was such a powerful program that we wrote. And we saw long-term impact there where children were coming home earlier. They wanted to spend time with their parents. They were in school for longer. We saw an improvement in school. And so that kind of led us to write more programs such as that. So much so that we won a gold award in 2018 for social innovation, as well as we've gotten awards from my school for our family strengthening. We won 100,000 Rand last year. One of our other highlights is we started the training in our programs last year, was the first time we piloted, and we trained 97 professionals who then implemented our programs, and we reached over 2,000 children. And that's been amazing to see. So when we train other professionals in our program, they have the ability to adapt those programs in their own community. And so we've seen them change and shift their programs just our basic outline and them using it in a way that I would never even imagine. And it's just been amazing to see that grow.
That is amazing. And I just want to also read some of the comments. Reader's Warehouse says such a wonderful project, and we cannot agree more with that. And thanks for everybody who has joined. I see Professor Eric Atmo has joined, and we spoke about you this morning, Danny, and he sends his regards. Real Parenthood, Ashley Ann, Jenny Bright, Lydia, Julia Pale. Hi, Julia. Jessica Blom, Bridgeville Primary School. Hi, Bridgeville Primary School. Thank you so much for joining, guys. Okay, before we get into how people can get involved in the work or assist your work, tell us a bit about, because I know earlier when we spoke, you said there's an upcoming conference that you guys have. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so at the moment we have one is our training that's coming up. We're starting our Man in the Mirror training this week coming, and that's for teen boys around building resilience in our teen boys and helping them to be the men that they want to be in the future. And then we have our Fierce training, which is a self-esteem and self-worth program for teen girls, and that's coming up in September. And then October we have a training event called Finding Feelings, and it's for grade 1s and 2s around emotional literacy and social development. And all of those programs have a parent feedback session, so how do you get parents involved, as well as how you can adapt it again in your own programs. And you can check that out on our website. And then yes, we have an adoption series coming out called Building Blocks, and that's happening in the first week of September, and it's happening every Thursday night for 3 Thursday nights from 7 p.m. And yeah, it's around about looking into adoption for those people interested in adopting. That is our first one. And then it's parenting through the ages. So if you adopt, what kind of parenting techniques or issues you need to be aware of as well. So yeah, we have a lot of events coming up in the next few months actually.
Okay, and they sound exciting, and I'm sure it's going to be great. So now, how can people get involved, Danny? What can people do to assist Arise?
Yeah, so there's many ways you can get involved. One of our biggest needs is obviously funding. We are an NGO, and so monthly donors are always welcome. From 100 Rand a month to 200 Rand a month really makes a difference. If you're an NGO out there, you really do know that we are able to stretch every Rand and cent, and it really is being used in every way possible. We also have family strengthening kits that we're putting out for our families and our communities. So it's a basic box for our families with all the resources to hit 5 issues that families face. So one is family time. So how do you have fun within your home with different age children? And we give tools and ideas of what families can do. It's about coping with big emotions. So how do you help your kids with feelings of sad and anger and being scared and that anxiety, especially now with COVID-19? And then how to have hard conversations. So talking about death, talking about divorce, talking about violence in your communities. And then thirdly, it's about how do you encourage learning within the home. And then as well as then discipline techniques. So we talk about gentle parenting, positive discipline. How can you do that within your home? And your box basically comes with all these activities in which you can use and reuse with your family. And again, it's building that connectedness and attachment with your children. As well as, you know, during this time of COVID and the pandemic, food insecurity is really real. And so we're still trying to feed our families in need. And so that is always, if you'd like to give towards that, that would be great. We're starting our group work now as we hit level 2. So yay, we're getting to see our families and we're very excited. And there we give coffee, tea and sandwiches because that is a big need. And if you'd like to donate towards bread, tea, coffee, we'd appreciate that as well.
Okay, so guys, you've heard it there now, how you can assist Arise. And also, do you mind sharing some of maybe your website and your social media handles with everybody, Danny?
Yeah, sure. So you can visit us at arisefamily.org. Very easy, arisefamily.org. And you can visit us on Facebook and Instagram at Arise Family SA. So I joined with our Instagram, Arise Family SA. So you can click ahead and see what we've been up to.
Yeah, Danny, I was going to pull a leg, but I think I'm going to pull it anyway. Do you want them to tell you? Must I tell them how I gave you a tutorial to join this live video?
Yes, you did.
Don't worry. I'm actually, I'm shocked at how many people actually requested. I was like, do people not know this? But I mean, yeah, it is what it is. Okay, and it's not a bad thing. Actually, it's not a bad thing.
I enjoyed watching the videos, not really participating in it.
But look at what a gem you've been and how we've learned so much from you. And I just love how passionately you speak. So I'm so glad that I could give you that tutorial so you could join. Okay, Danny, since it's Women's Month, and we are celebrating women and the resilience of women in South Africa and just how amazing our women are, who are some of the women that inspire you?
Gosh, there are so many amazing women out there. I think some South African women that that really inspire me is someone like Thuli Madonsela. I think her advocacy for human rights is something to be admired for. Being in our field, that's really needed to call people out. Is hard, but it's so important to do to keep people accountable. The people that I need. Someone like Castus Aminia is also great. The way she's handled media and stood up for herself, who's unique, for what she is also amazing. From the States, women from the States that I've seen is like Kamala Harris. She's amazing. My goodness. And running for VP is see someone of color as well. Is great. Someone like Alexander AOC being inspire me is like my grandmother when she, my mother, who was a single parent, a lot. There are grandparents in our communities that's, oh my goodness, they should get brownie points and everything that they sacrifice to ensure that their grandchildren are still being able to go to school and have a family, and they sacrifice their retirement and elderly years. So yeah, there's so many women that I meet across with their passion and standing up for what they believe in and sacrificing is amazing.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that, Danny. So I've come to my last question. So we're going to head into our game that we play with all our special guests. And then at the end, I'm going to ask you, we're going to end off with your message of hope and encouragement to women in South Africa. So let's get into the game. It's fun. It's quick. It's just, you just say the very first thing that comes to your mind. Okay, I'm going to read out a little statement and you just say the first thing that comes to your mind. Okay, are you ready?
You know that I'm a mom, so I've been sleep deprived, so I really hope sorry, team, who's listening.
I'm sure you'll be fine. Okay, so as a child, your favorite TV show was?
Gummy Bears.
Oh my word, the cutest. I was actually thinking about that theme song the other day for some reason. I don't know what I was doing. I was probably working and it just came to my head and I'm like, oh my word, it's such a cute theme song. Like, I loved it. It's just so great on the ear. As a child, your favorite game was?
Monopoly. I was that person. My family hated me. I loved it.
Were you the family
and Ingle Angle.
The hotels? Yeah. Oh, Ingle Angle. Oh my word. Legend. Okay. Your favorite childhood food?
Would have to be spaghetti. That's the first thing that's popping in my mind. My mom's spaghetti.
Oh, yes. Is that the tomato spaghetti or just the plain?
No, no, tomato needed in the sauce, like
Okay.
bolognese. Bolognese.
Lekker. Okay. Um, as a child, your favorite item of clothing or fashion, what was your favorite thing to wear?
My favorite is dungarees, and I really wish I could
Yes.
wear it again, but my husband's like, I'm not married to a child, so
Oh, well, they were the best. They were the best
I
ever.
love
I,
them.
I,
I
I
love
remember my
dungarees.
aunt, I think I have maybe said this before, my aunt bought, we went from the States and it was like a Space Jam theme. So it had like Bugs Bunny on the
That's
side.
very
Yeah, it
cool.
was a vibe. And I still had like these black boots that I wore with it. That just was, it was a vibe, guys. Let's bring
For
back
me,
the dungarees.
it was dungarees and the floppy hats.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Okay, your favorite childhood singer or band?
That was easy. Mariah Carey. I was going to be Mariah Carey and Backstreet Boys.
Okay, I'm not gonna hit you with Mariah, but can you maybe give us a little line from Backstreet Boys? Mariah's a bit like, unless you have a hidden talent that you want us to know of, and that's why you said Mariah first.
No, no. I mean, I was the girl with the hairbrush, No, Backstreet Boys. Oh my goodness. Now I'm like, I did love them, and now I'm going blank. Maybe because this is very scary. It is. I want it that way. Tell me why it ain't nothing but a heartache. Tell me why it ain't nothing but a. I forgot.
Stage.
That's
Oh
it.
my word! And that was brilliant. I even love like the heart. Like, oh my
Yeah,
word,
you
we are
got
getting
it.
so creative. I think your performance was probably the most creative performance. I'm gonna put it out there. Well done with that. Okay, if you could describe your childhood using one word, what would it be?
Messy.
Messy.
I was
Okay,
the kid who was climbing trees and playing in mud. So, yeah.
that's how it should be. Oh my word. It's like that Omo advert, where the kid goes and plays in the mud and he's like, oh, I should take this to my mom now. She's like, don't worry, there's Omo for that.
Yeah. I was very much a tomboy.
Okay. Okay, Danny. So we've come to the end of the interview. And so before we say goodbye and say thank you to everybody for watching and thank you to you, what is your message? It's Women's Month. We are trying to, encourage our women. Lots of women are going through some hectic things. There are
Yeah.
those resilient women. There are those who are just really doing the most. What is your message of hope and encouragement to women in South Africa?
I think for women in South Africa, it's really important to have other women that support you and lifts you up and can stand by your side and encourage you when life gets hard. We can't do life without each other. And so find that support structure as well. And I think it's okay for us women to know that it's okay to say no and draw boundaries. I think a lot of the time we get told to be nice and play nice and say yes. But it is okay to say no, that you can't do something. And it's also okay to ask for help. And so we can't do that without our support structures and people who are, cheering us on the sidelines. So find those women. I definitely dedicate Women's Month to my fearless women friends who stand by me, who encourage me, because it's hard out there, especially when you speak out. A lot of people will go, "Oh, you're opinionated or you bossy," and people will pull you down. So you really need people who's going to root for you and be in your corner.
Danny, thank you. That was an excellent message to the women of South Africa. I just want to thank you so, so much for taking the time to chat with us today. I know you have a busy schedule. Your mom, you're director of an NGO, but just thank you so much. You have really, I said at the beginning, guys, your hearts are going to be warmed. My heart is warmed. I'm sure everybody else who has been watching, hearts are warm too as well. So thank you so much. Thank you to everybody who has joined us. Thank you for your comments and just using that data to watch this live video. Danny, before we go, is there anybody that you would like to
Yes,
say
thank
hi
you
to?
so much,
Is there a
Chanel.
shout out? Is there anybody that you would like to say hi to or give a little shout out to before we say goodbye?
Sorry, I think we
Hello?
paused there.
Oh,
Hello.
okay. I'll do it again. Hopefully the signal will be good now. Is there anybody that you would like to say hi to or give a shout out to before we say goodbye?
Yeah, well, thank you to all of your viewers. Thank you for coming to listen a little bit about me and Arise, and for your support. It's always encouraging. I see Bridgeville Primaries joined, and they've been a great school that we worked in as well. And so thank you for joining in. And please visit our website and our Instagram accounts and on Facebook. And like us and follow us and see what we're doing. And we're always open for collaboration and partnership. So you can email us at any time as well.
Cool. So thank you so much, Danny. Thank you so much, guys, for joining. Please stay safe. We have leveled down, but please still stay safe, guys. Let's not go back wild. Let's still protect each other. And yeah, just keep safe, keep warm, keep dry. And if you can help somebody today, whatever it may be, help that person. And yeah, we'll check you guys out next Thursday. We'll be ending off our Women's Month celebration. It's a surprise, guys. Our next special guest is a surprise. You'll have to tune in next Thursday to see who it is. Okay, thank you so much. Thanks, Danny. Thanks, Arai.
Yes,
all the best, guys.
Thank you. Yes.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye.